I talk about consumerism and conscious spending on this channel a lot, and I fully recognize it is so easy to lose track of what you have and lose track of how much you're spending, specifically when it comes to fragrances. And I actually put out a poll on this channel last week, is it easy for you to overspend on fragrances? About 90% of you said that yes, it is easy for you to overspend, and it's clear that this is an issue that's happening a lot in the fragrance community, especially with all the new releases. I mean, every single Monday I do that series where I talk about the new fragrance releases, and I've talked about how many there are and how difficult it is to keep track and how difficult it is to monitor sometimes what you're adding into your collection. So I decided to create a solution to this issue, and I have now launched my very own fragrance expense tracker. This is a downloadable file on Google Sheets. It's a spreadsheet that will enable you to effectively track what's coming in to your collection, what you have, and also how much you're spending. And I'm going to be outlining this all in this video for you here today. But if this is your first time on this channel, hello, my name is Anya. I love talking about fragrances on here, and I launch videos every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, along with a ton of bonus content in between. So if you're interested, do consider subscribing. So I have this fragrance tracker here, and I'm going to open it up on my phone, and I'm also probably going to do a split screen so you can see what this looks like. I created this tracker in a few different colorways depending on your preferences. We have rose gold, jewel tones, and steel gray. So again, depending on your preferences, you can take your pick. I'm going to open up the rose gold one since that is personally my favorite colorway, and it's the one that I decided to start tracking my own expenses in. So we have three separate sheets in this spreadsheet. So first we have daily expenses, then we have expense overview, and finally we have my fragrance collection. So with the spreadsheet, I wanted to make it as user-friendly as possible. And so there are two main objectives to this spreadsheet. The first is to track your expenses month by month, depending on what you're spending on fragrances. The second objective is to track what you already have in your collection, whether it be in decants, samples, discovery sets, or full bottles. I already have so many samples, and I fully recognize how easy it is to lose track of what samples or what decants you have, let alone what full bottles or discovery sets you might already own in your collection. So in this way, we're able to effectively streamline what we already have and keep track of it. So here's how you use this spreadsheet. Again, you input the information into your daily expense log. You put in the date that you made the purchase in the date column. Then in the second column, in column B, you put in the brand name. Finally, you put in the fragrance name into column C, and in column D, you choose what category your purchase is under. So let's just say you bought a full bottle, you bought a decant, a sample, or discovery set. This is where you make that selection. Then finally, in column E, you put in the price of how much that cost you. Let's just say you received a fragrance as a gift or you didn't pay for it. It might have been PR, what have you. In column E, you'd put a 0 because we're still going to track what you already have in your collection. So that way, even if you didn't spend any money on a fragrance, you got it as a gift, you can still put it in the spreadsheet and it will still track it for you. Okay, so now let's go into the second sheet, and this is expense overview. So this sheet is almost completely formula driven. In fact, most of the spreadsheet is formula driven. The only areas that you really have to put in your own numbers would be in the daily expense tracker and expense overview, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. Everything else is completely formula driven. But here you have a chart that essentially breaks down samples, decants, discovery sets, full bottles. You also have a monthly budget. Now the monthly budget is something that you can change manually. I have this set at 200. That's just an example, but you have to put in whatever your monthly budget is for fragrances, and you can put that in month by month. Then you have the total expenses. So the total expenses calculates all the samples, decants, discovery sets, and full bottles you might have purchased for that entire month, and it tallies it up into one total number. And then you have variance in the last row, where you're able to track how much over budget or how much under budget you may have been for that particular month. And I have this laid out in a calendar year, and I know that we are literally almost at the end of this year. We're pretty much at Q4 right now, and I was kind of like thinking, do I really release this like as like a small sampling of like the latter portion of this year, or do I just release it for like January to December? And I made the decision to release this from January to December. And if you purchase your fragrance tracker now, again, we have that promotional price. I'm not sure if I mentioned that already, but I do have a promotional price going for a brief time. You can get this tracker for $3.99. But if you buy this tracker from now up until the end of the year, you will receive a complimentary version of this tracker set for 2025 when it comes to next year. So I will send you a 2025 version of this fragrance tracker if you buy this tracker from now until the end of the year. The reason why I didn't want to release a 2025 version of this just yet is because I want to be sure I can like take your feedback and kind of fine tune this tracker, because this is my first time releasing something like this. So I want to make sure that I'm able to make the best version of a 2025 tracker that I can. So again, I'm releasing this tracker as is right now. I still think it's a really useful tool for you to use, but I will be taking feedback and incorporating it into a 2025 version, and you will receive that version once 2025 rolls around if you already bought this tracker. I'm going to now transition into my fragrance collection. Now, this is arguably one of my favorite parts of this entire thing. I was super excited, and this was actually, I'm not very good at formulas, by the way. I'm literally not very good at Excel formulas, Google Sheets formulas, literally not good at it at all. Like, so this is completely self-taught, and this part of the spreadsheet was one that I worked on for quite a while because, again, I'm not good at this. But this is arguably one of my favorite sheets in this entire spreadsheet, because here is where you can track what's in your collection. So essentially, whenever you put in a brand name into the daily expense tracker sheet, we have formulas in the My Fragrance Collection sheet that will pull the brand name from the daily expense tracker and add it into My Fragrance Collection. And then every single time you buy a discovery set, a sample, a decant, a full bottle from that brand, it'll tally up what you have. So that way you're effectively able to keep track of all the items that you might have from a particular brand. If you want to keep track of how many decants you have or how many samples, since those can so easily kind of like get lost, this is a good way to keep track of how many you have from each particular brand. So again, this is one of my favorite parts of this tracker. I've been using it, and I'm able to keep track of how many I have from each and every particular brand. So again, this is an effective way for you to track what's already in your collection. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are all the features I wanted to share with you. Again, I might sound a little bit nervous, and that's because like this is the first time I've done something like this. Um, I've never really launched a product before, and I've always been curious about how can I track my expenses in an effective way. And I feel like this is something that is so in keeping with what I love, which is fragrance, and also financial health, which is something I don't really talk about that much on here. But I'm really passionate about budgeting and making sure that I'm spending my money in a meaningful way. And I feel like this is very much in keeping with what we talk about here on this channel, which is mindful spending, especially when it comes to fragrances. I mean, fragrances are a luxury, right? So I think it's important to acknowledge that. And I hope that with this fragrance tracker, you can be able to, again, keep track of what you have and also maybe plan ahead. Like think, oh yeah, I don't have much from this brand, so let me see if I can get some more. Again, this is just the beginning. I have so many ideas in my head that I want to work on and I want to put out there for you. But this is just the start. If you have any feedback for this, please let me know. But this will be available for purchase in the description box down below. I did open a stand store, so you can purchase this there. Again, we have 3 different versions. We have this rose gold, we have a steel gray, which is like kind of like more traditionally masculine, I guess, for those of you who want to go for something that's like not super pink. But we also have a jewel tone. So if you're interested in like jewel tones, that one's also really good as well. This is something I'm really proud of. I've worked on this for quite some time. This has taken a lot of trial and error, a lot of testing. So yes, you can purchase this down below using my stand store. And essentially whenever you purchase this fragrance tracker. The link that I send you will create a copy of this, so you'll be able to work on your own fragrance tracker. And yeah, let me know. What do you think of this launch? Are you excited about it? Again, you don't have to purchase this if you don't want to. I just created this tracker because it was an idea I had because of what I see in the fragrance industry, because I see such a level of hyperconsumerism. I wanted to create a product that helps mitigate that. So yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching till the end of this video. I'm so excited about this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.